Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. I'll give you my financial opinion. I did wear the green shirt, but looks like we're still getting red. Looks like that's not working out today. But anyway, we'll dive in here. I'll give you my financial opinion. We got the dollar behind me. We're bouncing off support. Staying relatively high. We've got an increasing dollar today, and we're bouncing off this support line going across. We have broken out of this line going across. It's the resistance support line. We broke through it. We're kind of bouncing back. Is this a retest where we move higher? Difficult to say. The DXY, again, this is relative strength indicator, basically. And this relative strength for the dollar is positive for the dollar. That is positive for dollar-denominated assets. Looking at the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is declining in yield, down 2.83%. It looks to me like we want to go lower here. So we've got that pattern again that I always see. You kind of come up here, and you get that kind of pattern that looks like that. But again, I don't put too much weight on that pattern. I don't sit there and trade specifically off that one pattern. What I am doing is I'm playing the big trend. And yes, this is a short-term pullback. I do think we're going to go lower on interest rates. There's still fear in this market. I can see the bonds. Here's bonds. They are strengthening here. You can see those large up days and small down days. So it does, to me, look like bonds are ready to come back up, and we'll see if we can break this support area or not. This correlates with a weaker 10-year yield, or a yield that goes lower. CRB index down a little bit today. We are running into a kind of a little bit of resistance up here in this general vicinity. We do have higher lows continually. So that still looks like a very strong chart to me. Nothing's broken. Everything looks good on the short term for the CRB index itself. Gold looks like it's trying to find a bottom here above its support downtrend line. So we'll see if that holds here. Again, I don't know the future here, but I mean, what I've learned off my past is you buy off these support levels. That's a good spot to usually pick up shares and things, or physical metals, or whatever it is. Silver getting a little bit of selling pressure today. Again, it doesn't look horrible, but doesn't necessarily look great. We're against this resistance support line. We do have that type of V-type bottom looking, and we'll see if that actually pans out that way. Again, I don't try to make predictions, but we're at that resistance level. We got to break through it. We're getting a little bit of selling pressure today. Platinum getting a little bit more selling pressure today. Could we come back to this vicinity down here where we've got amazing buying opportunities? Very well could. If we do that, I'm going to buy more physical metal. I guess I'm just a platinum junkie, whatever. But overall, I mean, we're still within this declining wedge pattern. There's the wedge there in the short term. We do have, I was hoping kind of an inverted head and shoulders. We'll see. That might be negated, but either way, we're still within the pattern. XAU to gold ratio, we are bouncing volatilely everywhere. Nice big move. We have this flag pattern, nice big move. And then I think we're going to bounce around here. I think we're going to bounce around. We got to work off that downward momentum. There's still fear in the market. We got to work this stuff off. We can see in the patterns themselves. I mean, this thing's looking quite good, actually. I mean, we could have one last move lower to this full retracement and basically scribe out this entire pattern here. That is a possibility. We could still have a little bit more downside left. And a lot of these, they don't all have the same pattern. We could be just moving sideways in some, like EXKs in this pattern here. It's a big down day, but we also have this large up day. So I think it's a battle between the buyers and sellers where we basically move sideways. Fortuna Silver Mines, a little bit of a sell-off today. Again, we're still above the support area. SILJ getting a little bit of a sell-off today right on support resistance line. Just kind of backing out, looking at the big picture. And we could come down here, guys. We could sell off further and test the bottom of this pattern. If that is the case, If we come down here to test the bottom, you got one heck of a buying opportunity. I'll tell you that. GDX, right at support. Again, I think we're going to bounce a little bit like that, going sideways. We've got, let me skip over that, Metallic Minerals, a small exploration company. We're getting a little of these wicks on the bottom. That's a positive sign. Some buyers are at least coming in, feeling like they need to buy it down here. Koya Resources. This one still looks good. We've got large up days, small down days. Still looking good. Discovery Silver doing the bounce off of its support. Still doesn't look too bad. It's not a huge down day, so we've got AG, First Majestic Silver, getting a little bit more of a sell-off. This does have a lot of momentum, though, guys. And I think we're going to have to work that off somehow. We're going to have to work it off. Newmont getting a little bit more selling pressure. This still looks more mid-stride. I don't see any big buying pressure anywhere through there. It's mainly sellers. Mag Silver, I mean, we got this nice big bullish engulfing candlestick there. Still looks good to me for a potential bottoming type action going on. Yamana Gold, again, I don't see any large buying pressure candlestick through here yet. So I still think it might have a little bit more downside left in it. Impact Silver, that's got a little bit more buying pressure there. We'll see what happens. Aftermath Silver, again, this one, just hold your horses on this guy. This is still pulling back. I still don't see a bottom yet. Arcana Silver is getting... I don't own anything in this one. This was one that somebody brought up. There's a couple of these that I don't own much in that I'm going over. PLG getting a little bit more of a sell-off today. Again, it still looks like it's trying to find a bottom, go sideways like that. Simonyai, Stillwater, I don't own anything in this one either, but it is right at support. We'll see if that holds. Sandstorm Gold, down a little bit, still within the support resistance areas. I think we'll find support somewhere in this general vicinity. But again, the overall markets, if they sell off hard, it may draw us down with it. Franco-Nevada looking like it wants to come back to this white support line. That's probably where we're going to end up. I don't see any reversals. We're at this resistance support line, but there's no large up candlestick saying, hey, look, we're moving bigger upward like this one, or some bigger ones, or some patterns with wicks on the bottom. There's one little wick, but there's no big buying pressure that's stepped in yet. So we could still see a little bit more downward pressure. EMX is putting a battle on here. I see buyers and sellers. Sellers today, buyers through this big bullish engulfing. Teuton Resources, just moving sideways. Wheaton Precious Metals looking like it wants to go a little bit lower before basing out. And again, it could turn at any point. Depends what the overall markets do. If the overall markets sell off hard, I do think this will head lower. If the overall markets start to catch a bid and start to basically flatten out, I think our stocks will flatten out too. Gold Royalty getting a little bit of a sell-off. And it's the leverage in the system that's connecting. The leverage is interconnecting everything. That's what's doing it. Again, we still have this kind of like bottoming type pattern that could play out. I see that a lot. And it's still, it's a bearish engulfing here, but we're towards the bottom of the pattern. Sometimes and this is a bullish engulfing there. We've got MMX. MMX still looks bullish to me. Doesn't look bad. Got that nice big bullish engulfing there. Usually that resolves higher eventually. And then we've got Royal Gold. More selling pressure. I don't see any turning candlestick points here. There's nothing turning here yet. So still lower. Cisco Gold Royalty looks like it's trying to fight here for a support and a sideways motion. No big up days, no big down days. It looks like we're getting the buyers starting to equal the sellers there. And then Altius is bouncing around. We're still above this support line. Still looks good in my opinion. It is a bearish engulfing, so we'll see if we kind of do some of that. A little bit more sideways action. This is a bullish piercing pattern there. So overall, guys, I mean, let me look real quick at the overall stock market here. SPX, we've got that pull up higher. It didn't quite make it all the way, but boom, the sellers came in and sold it off. So there's still sellers out there. There's still fear in the market. And then NASDAQ's the same way. It kind of just rolled over and sold off. So we don't want to fall back below this level there. If we fall back below that, we might get more selling pressure. So basically, you're stair stepping. So if you kind of come below that point, you sell off, you consolidate, sell off, consolidate, sell off, until you find a level where people are happy holding these stocks. So that's what I've got for today. That's the precious metals. Again, gold doesn't look that bad. Physical gold. The miners, they may have a little bit more downside. It may link up with the NASDAQ composite and the overall markets. Remember, it's still highly leveraged, and these things have to kind of deleverage themselves. So that's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. And I'm just holding on to all my shares. I'm not doing anything. I'm just along for the ride, enjoying the ride. Yeah, I don't enjoy the portfolio going down much, but the bright side is if we get lower, you can get more of these shares. So I almost look at it as a win-win. And if you've got income, if you're working, you can buy this. And the momentum's down in the overall markets. If I look at that composite one behind me, if you look here, this momentum is, there's strong momentum here. We had a little bit of consolidation, strong momentum there. And it looks like we're still heading lower. So we could pull back. We could pull back. Anyway, guys, that's what I've got for today. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe to the website, Platinum Membership. If you want to see my financial education stuff, it'll teach you a little bit of how to think around the markets, what to look for, the things that I look at. There's some value there if you want to learn about investing. You have to know that stuff in order to hold through this stuff. I am holding through it. Why am I holding through it? Why don't I just sell out because I'm afraid of a recession? Well, I've got really good entry points, and I know that the trend is in place. So as long as the trend is in place, I don't try to predict the short-term movements. I just ride through it. And if we get better buying opportunities, I'm going to continue to add into it. That is the lowest risk, highest probability bet that I know of, is to play the big trends and to ride through things. Recessions usually don't last long. If we're in a recession, we probably are. We've had a lot of large movements in mortgage rates, in oil and energy and all these things all around the world. So I don't see how we wouldn't be in a recession for a little bit. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout deflation type crash where you've got housing the cause of it. I still think housing is strong, and it's probably sucking down more of the money and percent of income than what most people like. But there's a shortage there, and I think it will remain resilient. That's what I think. So I don't think we're going to have some blowout deflationary crash at this particular time. And I'll go over more data with housing starts and stuff that just came out. They do look positive and still look good. So that's all I've got. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.